Hello, America. Welcome back to Travel Secrets with TV's Dave Galvin. This is the podcast where we talk travel, tourism, vacations, and all those strange realities hiding underneath those perfect Instagram sunset photos where everybody somehow looks emotionally stable and lightly windblown. So today's topic is the hidden truth about honeymoon trips, because honeymoons are supposed to be magical, romantic beaches and luxury resorts and champagne and all that. That's the fantasy, but the hidden truth is honeymoons are exhausting. They're intense, they can be expensive, stressful, and sometimes accidentally chaotic. Because here's what nobody tells people. A honeymoon isn't just a vacation, it's actually a psychological transition. Two people just survived wedding planning, all the family drama, financial pressure, emotional overload, and seating chairs designed by Satan. Seriously. And now they're expected to immediately become relaxed and tropical gods drinking coconut cocktails in perfect harmony. That's how it works in the movies. But that's a lot to ask from exhausted human beings. So today, let's talk about why honeymoon trips are emotionally different than a normal vacation, the hidden pressure couples feel, and why some honeymoons go horribly wrong. Because honestly, honeymoons reveal a lot about relationships, and travel tends to magnify everything, good and bad. So the first hidden truth about honeymoons is this. People expect perfection, and that's dangerous because honeymoons are sold as the greatest trip of your life. And the second something gets labeled as once in a lifetime, pressure skyrockets, believe me. I've had 2 honeymoons. Trust me, I know how this works. So suddenly, every meal matters, every hotel room matters, every moment matters. People stop experiencing the honeymoon and start evaluating the honeymoon. That creates stress because real travel is messy. Flights get delayed, people get tired, people get sunburned. One person wants adventure while the other person wants a nap. I want the nap. This is all normal. But honeymoon culture convinces couples the trip should feel like a nonstop romance movie. And honestly, the expectation ruins a lot of vacations. The smartest honeymooners understand the trip doesn't need perfection. It just needs connection, and that's a big difference. So here's the part nobody talks about enough. Most people begin their honeymoon physically and emotionally destroyed. Weddings are exhausting. Even beautiful weddings are exhausting. People spend months, sometimes years planning it. They worry about the money. They got to coordinate all the guests, handling all the family stress. Endless decisions. And by the wedding day, a lot of couples are basically running on adrenaline and wedding cake frosting. And then the wedding ends. And suddenly they're on a 14-hour flight to another continent, trying to feel romantic while surviving airplane dehydration and emotional collapse. That's why so many honeymoon couples spend the first 2 days just mostly sleeping. And honestly, that's probably healthy. Some couples make the mistake of overloading honeymoons with activities immediately. And that's a bad idea. You don't need scuba diving and wine tours and volcano hiking and couples massages all within 48 hours. Your nervous system is just trying to reboot. So just relax. Honeymoons reveal travel compatibility. Here's where things get really interesting psychologically. Travel exposes relationship dynamics fast because travel creates stress. And stress reveals personality. Some people become, controlling, anxious, impatient, emotionally distant, or chaotic. And travel strips away your routine. At homes, couples have schedules and comfort zones and space, but on trips, you're constantly together. And honeymoons magnify this because emotions are already heightened. That's why couples sometimes discover surprising things about each other while traveling, such as one person likes to do the planning, the other person hates schedules, one wants luxury, the other wants adventure, one wakes up early, the other becomes hostile before coffee. Travel compatibility is real, and honestly, a successful honeymoon often depends less on destination and more on flexibility. Now, let's talk about the Instagram effect because social media completely changed honeymoon culture. Now people don't just want romance, they want cinematic romance. Luxury villas, floating breakfasts, private infinity pools, flower-covered bathtubs that somehow look impossible. And honestly, some of it does look amazing. But social media edits reality aggressively. Nobody posts about the food poisoning, the airport delays, arguments about directions, your exhaustions, or sweating through custom lines. Because you're just sitting there in customs just going, God, can I just get out of here, please? But those things happen. Real travel includes inconvenience, and couples who chase perfect content often miss the actual experience itself. Sometimes people become so focused on documenting the romance, they stop experiencing it, which is honestly one of the weirdest side effects of modern travel culture. Honeymoons are secretly financially stressful. Now let's discuss the giant tropical elephant in the room, which is money. Honeymoons are expensive, especially today. Luxury resorts, the flights, the dining, the activities, the upgrades, and many couples feel pressure to go big because, you only honeymoon once. I've done it twice. So this is emotionally powerful marketing. The wedding industry and the travel industry both understand this psychology perfectly. That's why honeymoon marketing is so emotionally intense, because everything becomes kind of unforgettable and exclusive, and they sell you a once-in-a-lifetime dream experience. Honestly, some couples overspend massively just trying to create a fantasy, then financial stress follows them home, which is not exactly romantic. My wife and I recently took a trip to Europe. We did Italy. We did a princess cruise. It wasn't necessarily our honeymoon, but it was our anniversary trip. 23rd wedding anniversary, I might add. I'm still paying off the $4,000 I spent on my credit card. And I'm going to probably for quite a while. It's just the way it is. And I was prepared to do so. None of this is exactly romantic. The smartest couples focus less on impressiveness and more on experience quality. Honestly, some of the happiest honeymoon memories come from really the simple moments: wandering cities, eating together, laughing during disasters, relaxing without pressure, not necessarily from $1,000 resort upgrades. My favorite memories of our trip to Europe was literally sitting down in a restaurant and eating the most amazing Italian food I've ever had in my life. Take out the word Italian out of that sentence. It was some of the most amazing food in my life. And my wife, she had completely agreed, 100%. She was all like, this food is amazing. And we still talk about the food. We still talk about sitting down in this one restaurant with the one waiter who could actually speak English and actually explain to us what was in the dishes. We still talk about that, because that was the experience that made us happiest the most. The two of us sitting down, having a nice meal. So now let's talk about honeymoon disasters, because they absolutely happen. The missed flights, the bad weather, the terrible hotels, arguments. Honestly, sometimes honeymoons fail because expectations were kind of unrealistic from the start. People assume now that the wedding's over, everything just becomes perfect. But marriage doesn't magically eliminate stress. Actually, just the opposite. Vacations don't magically eliminate emotional baggage. In fact, travel actually amplifies emotions, and that's why emotionally healthy couples usually handle honeymoon problems better. They adapt, they laugh things off, they stay flexible. Meanwhile, couples obsessed with perfection tend to spiral harder when problems happen. And on long trips, something always happens, and that's just the way life is. Now, here's the hidden truth smart travelers understand. The best honeymoons are slower. They're not busier. The best trips are going to leave room for spontaneity, maybe a nap, wandering around the city a bit, and of course, emotional breathing room. Trying to maximize your honeymoon will often destroy them. Couples exhaust themselves chasing activities instead of enjoying each other. Honestly, some of the best honeymoon destinations are places where people naturally kind of just slow down. Italy, Greece, French Polynesia, those small coastal towns, luxury resorts with minimal schedules, because romance thrives in calm environments, not in hyper-scheduled tourism marathons. Now, here's the beautiful part. Despite all the chaos and the pressure, honeymoons often become deeply emotional memories because they symbolize that transition, beginning and partnership and future shared experiences and all that crap. Psychologically, humans attach powerful emotions to firsts. first trip together as a married couple becomes emotionally significant. Even imperfect moments become meaningful later. That's why couples often laugh about honeymoon disasters years later. The disaster becomes part of the story. And honestly, that's what makes travel memorable. Perfect vacations are forgotten. Human vacations are not. In the end, the hidden truth about honeymoon trips is they're not about perfection, they're about connection. Slow down, recover from all the chaos. You need to share your experiences, beginning that new chapter together. The best honeymoons usually aren't the ones that look the most impressive online. They're the ones where couples actually enjoy being together. Years later, people rarely remember every hotel detail, but they're going to remember how the trip felt, how they laughed, and how they experienced the world together. And that's probably what honeymoons are supposed to be all along. Not performance, not perfection, just shared memories, preferably with fewer airport delays. We'll see you next week.